while in school, there is the curriculum that you have to study in order to take your board and get a license. That's one thing. And you have to be aware that if this is the only thing you do, you might end up being a decent chiropractor, even maybe a good chiropractor. But more likely, that is not sufficient. And that is not peculiar to chiropractic. It is true of architecture, of medicine, of psychology, of law, and so on. So while in chiropractic college, many chiropractic students will take extracurriculum seminars outside the curriculum. So, my contribution has been MLS adjusting seminar, which is basically to allow people to step out of what is called a technique and move into becoming a true artist in the art of clearing the neurospinal system, the channel between brain and body. That's one thing. Then I created a Cafe of Life model, which is a model of practice, which is very vitalistic. And for, I think, 14 or 15 years, I had Masterpiece Training Camp, which was a 6-day intensive training camp. It's no longer happening, but I had that. But what I think happened as a result of my influence within the profession is that it has birthed a culture of we're going to train like professional outside the school, because what we are taught in school is not sufficient to be highly proficient in the art of chiropractic. So it has birthed a culture that has now blossomed throughout the profession of many, many different seminars that have piggyback or stem out of what I started years ago in 1984.
For a new student to see and hear that, they might not be able to wrap their head, but you've literally influenced tens of thousands of chiropractors that are still practicing today, and the profession's not that big. Can you talk about what the inspiration was? I know you had some really great mentors, and your lineage was very closely tied to the roots of chiropractic. Can you talk a little bit about how you really wanted to keep chiropractic alive with the contributions you were making, and how potentially a prospective student might see that as a path that they want to take if they're looking to make great impact in the future?
Great. So you asked about the inspiration. It came from what I was doing in practice, and frequently people move out of state. So they would move from Pennsylvania, where I was practicing, to say Georgia or California. And then they would ask, can I get a referral? So I would try to get a referral. I would get a referral. And then 2 months later, when they finally have moved, get established in California or Georgia or whatever, they would call the office and say, Arno, you send it to a chiropractor that's part of your network, but it's not really the type of service nor the experience that we have in your office. Is there anything you can do about this, or somebody else you can refer to? And at first I say, I'm doing my best, but that's all I can do. And then over the years, more and more people start to ask me directly. They say, Arno, you must step out of practice and teach what you're doing and how you're practicing to other chiropractors, because we want to have that experience for our family or children or friends and so on. Mm-hmm. And that's when I began to listen. Mm-hmm. And basically life threw me in that position of having to create this 6-day intensive training camp, and also a lot of public speaking throughout the country and actually throughout the world. So that's how it started, and that was the spark, the inspiration. Like, okay, I got to do this because I can see that I can serve even more people by teaching others how I was practicing the approach, the very humanitarian way of connecting with people, and also the capacity to dispense this understanding that we have, this amazing knowledge and actually wisdom that we have about life, health, healing, wellness, well-being. So that's what the inspiration. And for some student perspectives, they may think like, yeah, I have a great vision. That's what I want to do.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I also had mentioned in the previous question about the mentors that you had. Can you just touch on them and then maybe share some resources that a prospective student can maybe seek out, or that we can help connect them to, so that they can bathe themselves in this chiropractic philosophy and really the essence of chiropractic?
Great. So one of my mentor, which was my chiropractic philosophy teacher nearly every morning for 3 or 4 years, was Reggie Gold, Dr. Reginald Gold. And there is, a very eccentric person back then with big sideburn and rhinestone cowboy jewelry, very flamboyant is the way they look, but brilliant mind. Jim Zigafus was another one. Sid William to some degree, but less for me. There was some good thing to be had from Sid William, Dr. Sid William. Obviously, while I was at Sherman, Ly W. Sherman, who used to be the director of the B.J. Palmer Research Clinic in Davenport, Iowa, when B.J. was alive. So my education through Tom Gilardi, the president, the former creator and president of Sherman College, and Ly W. Sherman, and many of the other chiropractors that were practicing in Spartanburg, South Carolina, were all taught by B.J. Palmer. So in many ways, I've had a direct lineage through them with people that were students of B.J. Palmer, the developer of chiropractic, and that in turn decided to share and teach the knowledge that they had acquired from him. So I was blessed to have that connection. Mm-hmm. Sue Brown was a great influence. Donald Epstein was a great influence. I would say that Donald Epstein, in many ways, and I mention that frequently, has been to chiropractic what Einstein has been to physics. He really exploded the field of understanding of the art of chiropractic and how to clear the neurospinal system. So those were some of my greatest mentors.
Mm-hmm. And then obviously your friend Jay and maybe Lou Corletto. Can you talk a little bit about the trips that you took back in the day to other countries and the types of opportunities that students have if they're looking to serve in other parts of the world, or what that experience is really like and how it might open you up?
So both Jay Komarek, who is probably the world authority on animal adjusting, and since we're mentioning his name, some of the people may try to tap into a short documentary called Life Adjusted by Jay Komarek, or with Jay Komarek. Him and Lou Corletto, who is also a prominent chiropractor, both were staff at Masterpiece Training Camp along with Sue Brown. So they were staff for many years and great support, great contributor to Masterpiece Training Camp. Jay really grew an animal and horse adjusting seminar that is, world class. World class. The man is absolutely magic with animal, and I believe that for a prospective student into chiropractic to watch an animal chiropractor of the caliber of Jay connect and watch and observe how he connect to an animal and become absolutely one with the animal, absolutely present with the animal, and then the animal totally surrender completely, is extraordinary and will lead them to understand that that connection must happen also with a human being when you clear them and adjust them. Lou Corletto organized trips in Brazil, mission trip, humanitarian mission trip in the favela of Brazil, of Fortaleza. Extraordinary experience, because it was not one of those mission trip where you go there and you practice for a few hours and then you go sightseeing and then you party at night and the next day you do that again. No, it was we would get up at 6:30 in the morning, train and get prepared, and then go on location by 7:30 or 8 o'clock, and sometime adjust and clear people until 12 o'clock at night. The next day we would show up at 8 o'clock, there was 800 people waiting. So you dissolve yourself into service. You really learn what it is to give of yourself with no holding back. Extraordinary experience. So Yeah, that to me was amazing time.